So I want to show you some more resources and things that you might want to dig into and read about as you figure out whether you want to get into cybersecurity or whether you want to transition to cybersecurity from some other tech field, or maybe you're already in cybersecurity and you want to move up. You know, those are all the kinds of people that this course is targeting. I have a list of some additional resources. Now, I've got lots of cybersecurity resources, blogs, websites, subreddits, all kinds of stuff that I follow, and you will discover some of these as you move on as well. Google is your friend as usual, but I'm going to show you a few things that I have found to be particularly good lately. So let's just start over here. There are a number of cybersecurity related subreddits, particularly those aimed at beginners. You'll see here we have reddit.com/r/asknetsec, ASKNETSEC. That's a good place to go to ask questions, see questions other people have asked, and see the answers. For example, here's someone transitioning from sysadmin to network security. A great way to go. As I have often said, security is generally not an entry-level job, but if you can get a job as a system administrator, learn the basics, learn the ropes, learn how the technology works, then you will be well positioned to move into security. So this is a good subreddit to look at, and this post in particular is a good one. I will let you guys go find that. I'll link directly to it, in fact, in the resources along with this course. We got another one here, reddit.com/r/security career advice. Now, I know that you're looking to me for security career advice to a large extent here by taking this course, and that's great, thank you. However, there are other resources out there, including this one. Now, it's interesting, it says like CS career questions, only cooler. I've not actually checked that one out, so let's go take a look at that real quick. Reddit.com/r/CS career questions. Is that a thing? Yes, it is. Okay. Now, this is not so much not about cybersecurity, but cybersecurity is almost a subset or related to, well, let's see, CS. This means computer science career questions, I believe, not cybersecurity career questions. It's a little bit confusing, but computer science is very much related to cybersecurity. In fact, cybersecurity is almost a field within computer science, right? So those are both good places to look for information. Lots of good YouTube stuff also in terms of keeping up with what's happening in cybersecurity. And again, cybersecurity career stuff. There are a number of good YouTube channels. This one is the, what's this called? The Weekly Cybersecurity Show. What's the name of the channel? Oh, right. Cloud Security Podcast. I'm not a big fan of podcasts. I find that they just talk too much, which maybe you think I'm talking too much right now. It'd be kind of ironic, but yeah, I just find they take forever to get to the point. How long is this? An hour. I find it difficult to have an hour to listen to these guys, but some people love podcasts. So if you like podcasts, you like to hear people just shoot the breeze about this kind of stuff. Again, some are more succinct than others. I find them all to be quite long-winded. But this one in particular I have chosen for you guys because this is about cybersecurity career getting an entry-level GRC role. GRC is an interesting part of cybersecurity. If this is your thing, GRC is governance, risk, and compliance. It is not strictly a hardcore technical role. You generally don't need to know how to program, how to write code, or anything like that. You don't even need to be a system administrator necessarily to be a GRC person. GRC means you need to understand how to read the compliance requirements, the regulations. That could be HIPAA, could be PCI, could be NIST, could be FedRAMP related stuff. It could be any number of things, and be able to communicate with the security architects and security engineers what the requirements are, the compliance requirements. so that they know what kind of security controls to implement. And then you also need to know what kind of evidence or proof, basically, to get from them to show the auditors. As a GRC person, you will probably be the person who ends up sitting with the auditors and convincing them that you've got a legit security program and that you are up to snuff. And so if you want to get into cybersecurity, but you don't want to be face down in writing programs and lines of code all day, a GRC role might be the way to go. It is heavy on communication, heavy on paper pushing, heavy on legalese and interpreting the rules and regulations. And there is a bit of a social aspect as well, in that you need to get the security engineers and architects and the management and your auditors all on the same page that your security program is doing the right thing. But again, it is not strictly a super duper technical role. You do need to know the high level concepts. You need to know what, TLS certificates are. You need to know, you need to know some of the basics of encryption. You know some of the basics of everything, really, so that you'll be able to understand and interpret the regulations. But it would really be up to the security architects and engineers to know the super detailed level of that stuff and know how to actually configure the stuff in order to meet the requirements. But I picked this one out of this channel in particular because it's about getting an entry-level GRC role. Again, entry-level, that's what a lot of people are going to be looking for, right? So that might be a good one. I have found this article on Tech Radar, how to get into cybersecurity. A quick cheat sheet. This might be worth looking over also. You notice one of the problems with cybersecurity that I have in terms of like selling it or marketing it, padlocks and hackers in ski masks. That's the only visualization, the only marketing stuff that anybody has ever been able to come up with to promote the idea of cybersecurity. I just think it's kind of funny, kind of sad. But the article is about multiple sectors for different interests and skills. So again, they're going to talk about network security, information security, cloud security, application security, endpoint security, blah, blah, blah. Do they mention GRC in here? No, they really don't. This is a very high level treatment of it, but there are lots of articles about how to get into cybersecurity. I think this course has covered a lot of this kind of stuff in much more detail than any basically one-page article under a massive graphic is going to do. But there's a lot of this kind of stuff out there. Here on r/cybersecurity, again, reddit.com/r/cybersecurity, is another good entry-level article for you guys. Cybersecurity isn't a roller-specific job. It's a field that encompasses a range of different jobs. And there's a lot of discussion here about all the different kinds of cybersecurity roles there are. And so we've covered some of these in this class. There are many, and then there's a lot of good discussion. So you can scroll through here and read some of the discussion. Let's see here. The SANS Institute, another good YouTube channel. This video is titled, I Want to Work in Cybersecurity, Whatever That Means. This might be a good video for a lot of you because I have a feeling that a lot of people will be coming to this knowing that they like working with computers and technology. They're intrigued by the whole cybersecurity, hackers, ransomware, data theft, data protection business, but you're still new to it. You don't really know what it means to actually have a job in the field and what you'd be doing. So this is basically a podcast. It's a 54 minutes again. So it's another one of those things, a nearly hour-long discussion about what it means to work in cybersecurity. Let's see, maybe it says here, maybe you saw the 60 Minutes report on SolarWinds. Perhaps you've read the New York Times article about 3.5 million open cybersecurity jobs. Or maybe like me, you were tired of fixing printers. Yeah. The The point is, you've been bitten by the cybersecurity job bug, but how do you get that first job? What if you don't have a technical degree or any degree? And what's the difference between a threat hunter, a threat intelligence, and SOC analyst? Join me for some practical advice on first roles and breaking down myths and getting started. So we've covered a lot of that kind of stuff in this class. Ryan Kovar, Distinguished Cybersecurity Strategist, Splunk. Splunk is one of my favorite companies. I really dig those guys. I've done quite a bit of work with them. They are awesome. And they make some very, almost practically industry standard, although very expensive, security tools. But this sounds like a really good podcast to back up or give you another point of view on a lot of the kind of stuff that we have covered in this course. Specifically, they talk about, the different roles, how do you get that first job? What if you don't have a degree? All that kind of stuff. I've talked about it, but to get another perspective on it, I think this would be a good place to go. Again, reddit.com/r/cybersecurity. I've talked about this article elsewhere in this class, but here it is again. Top 5 mistakes people make, or let's see, top 5 mistakes people trying to break into cybersecurity are making. All in this post, so only YouTube if you want more info. So again, they list 5 mistakes, and there's a video about each one, or actually, this is all one video, but they're time indexing into that video where they talk about each of these things. So that might be another good one. Avoid those mistakes. Krebs on security. Now, you are going to want to have a number of cybersecurity news resources. I will try to provide a much more extensive list in the materials with this course, but Krebs on Security is one of my go-tos. I don't read it quite as much as I used to. I used to be in the habit of using an RSS reader, and this blog has an RSS feed. In fact, here it is right here. I don't use my RSS reader so much anymore, so I don't, read this blog as often as I used to. But I've got a number of things that come to me via email and other stuff. But Brian Krebs does first-rate work reporting on security news and his own investigation. Really good stuff. Whenever you go into an interview, you always want to make sure you are up on the security news from the previous week or month, so that when they ask you, what's happening in security news, or what's a big hacker vulnerability that's come out recently that you could tell us about, because that is a very commonly asked question. I ask it every time I'm conducting an interview. So this is a good news source for that kind of thing. Reddit.com/r/netsec, information security news and discussion. Another good source of news. Here is the Q2 22 information security hiring thread. Now, it's, as I record this, it's 2 months old already, but still probably lots of good stuff in there. And then just lots of other information about hacks and vulnerabilities and security tools and all kinds of good stuff. eBPF. That is a technology I want to learn more about. I don't have a use for it at the moment, but it's definitely something I want to learn more about. r/netsec students, subreddit for students studying network security and its related subjects. This probably ideal for just about all of you. If you are learning network security, learning cybersecurity in general, this is a good place to be. Lots of good stuff in here. Again, news, people asking about beginner-friendly courses on penetration testing. Only 6 comments. This subreddit is not terribly active, is it? 108,000 members, 57 online. That's pretty active. Let's see. So, download international standard documents. Yeah, this guy wants to get a hold of the ISO standards. Unfortunately, they're not publicly available. You have to pay for them. I think that's a crime, but here's something you'll run into often. Got hacked with TFA, two-factor authentication, I believe that is. Anything I am doing wrong. Once your friends and family find out that you work in the cybersecurity field, they are going to be asking you questions. Oh, my Facebook got hacked. What do I do? And, can my can my ex really spy on me, or are they spying on me, or I want to break into so-and-so's email, and all kinds of questionable, shady stuff comes along. Don't get involved in anything shady, and do be prepared to be the guy people ask about when it comes to this sort of thing. You'll learn some techniques to deal with it, to deflect it if you really don't want to get involved, which I often don't, because it's often their own personal drama that they got themselves into. In fact, I generally say, I avoid digging into their specific stuff unless they are like immediate family. But I always recommend, hey, I don't know about that particular situation, but use a password manager, choose strong passwords, use multi-factor authentication wherever possible. And that'll solve the vast majority of the average person's security problems. And that's my just standard advice I give everybody. Okay, and then CS career questions. That was the one we looked at already. Okay, so those are some good resources, additional resources to help you get news and career advice and some more perspectives. Hope you found that useful.